Welcome, dear students. We have learned the structure of affirmative present simple sentences in the previous video. In this video, we will learn how to make negative and interrogative sentences in the simple present tense. So, for making the negative sentences or the interrogative sentences, there are two rules. Just like there were two rules or two cases in the affirmative present simple sentences, we use do or does. And you need to learn like this, that do is the first form, and when you add es to do, it becomes does. So if you learn like this and understand like this, it would be very easy and it wouldn't be confusing at all. So just as you learnt that with I, we, you and they, the first person pronouns, the second person pronoun and the third person plural pronouns, you use the first form of the verb only. This is what we have learnt. So when you make the negative sentence, you need to use do. Do is the first form, and to make it negative, you will use not. Do not plus the first form of the verb. And when it comes to the second case, which was that if third person singular pronouns, he, she, it, or a singular noun itself are used, you need to add SOES to the first form of the verb. And the same thing will happen here in the negative sentence, that you will use does. If there is he, she, it or a singular noun, you will use does, and for the negative, you will use not. Does not plus the first form of the verb. So the structure will be that if I, we, they and you or a plural noun are used, the structure of the negative sentence will be do not plus the first form of the verb. For example, I make tea is the affirmative or the positive sentence. And when you will make the negative sentence, you will use do not. I do not, and then the first form of the verb, similarly, I do not make tea. And when it comes to he, she, it, or the singular noun, we have learnt that we use the first form of the verb plus s or es. So when you will make a negative sentence with he, she, it or any singular noun in the present simple present tense, you will use does not. And after does not, you will use again the first form of the verb. For example, she does not make tea. Now, this is what you need to remember. Please note that I said she does not make tea. While in the affirmative, according to the rule that we have studied, we have learned to make a sentence that will be like she makes tea. Because with he, she, it, we use the first form with s or es. But when we make the negative sentence, which goes like this, that she does not, we will use only the first form of the verb. Why is it so? It is because that if you use do, does or did in a sentence, you can only use the first form. You cannot use the first form with S or ES or the second form or anything. You need to use only the first form of the verb. Because you have used does, which is already first form with S, you will now only use the first form and the sentence will be like, she does not make tea instead of she does not makes tea. This sentence will be wrong. So this is something that you need to remember and you should never forget. Let us take another example. She cooks food. This is the affirmative simple present tense. But when you will make the negative sentence in the simple present tense, you will say she does not cook food. You will not use S or ES with the first form of the verb in the negative sentence because you have used does. So this is something that might be confusing, but it should not if you really practice hard and focus. So the formula goes for the negative sentence that do or does not is used with only the first form of the verb in the negative sentence. So let us now see how you will construct an interrogative sentence in the simple present tense. Interrogative sentence means a question. So how will you make a question, an interrogative sentence in the simple present tense? So we have already studied all the rules. We have studied about the difference of do and does. So it's really clear now. You already know where to use do and where to use does. And the same helping verbs, these two helping verbs, will be used while making sentences in the simple present tense in the interrogative form. The only change will be, apparent change, is that when you change an affirmative sentence, a positive sentence, into an interrogative, into a question like this, the helping verb comes in the beginning. The sentence starts with the helping verb. It does not start with I, we, or any noun. It starts with the helping verb of that particular tense, which is in the simple present tense, do or does. So the suitable helping verb will come in the beginning, and then the subject, which is the noun or which is the pronoun, and then the verb. And again, the verb will be in the first form. It would not be in the second form. It would not be with ing. It would not be with s or es in any case, because you have used and you will be using do or does in the beginning. So we have just learnt that when do or does or did as well, when do or does come in a sentence, you will not use any other form of verb except the first form. And at the end of the sentence, at the end of the interrogative sentence, which is basically a question, you should never forget to use a question mark. Always remember that. Now, for example, in an affirmative sentence, we say, she makes tea. And when you will make an interrogative sentence, you will say like this. The helping verb, the relevant, the suitable helping verb comes in the beginning. Now it's she, so the suitable helping verb will be does, then the pronoun, which is she, does she, and then the verb make, does she make, only the first form of the verb, and then tea, which is the object or whatever it is. So does she make tea is the interrogative sentence. And if it is with they make tea, and you need to make an interrogative sentence with they, what will you do? You will do the same, but which is the relevant helping verb for they? It is do. So do they make tea? And a question mark at the end. So you need to remember the formula for the interrogative sentence in the simple present tense. First comes the helping verb, then comes the noun or pronoun, then comes the verb, only the first form of the verb, and then the other parts of the sentence. And at the end of the sentence, interrogative sentence, which is a question, you need to put a question mark. So I hope you now completely know the structure of the simple present tense. And in this video, we tried that you get to know how to construct negative and interrogative sentences in the simple present tense. And I would like you all to make 10 sentences again in the interrogative and negative form in the simple present tense about your surroundings, about yourself, and then ask your teacher to check them for any mistakes, and you can also type them in the comment box below and I'll make sure that we check them. Thank you so much.